Across two vastly different worlds, two giants reign supreme, the polar bear and the grizzly bear. One stalks the frozen Arctic, a white phantom shaped by ice and cold. The other dominates North America's forests and mountains, a powerhouse of adaptability. On the surface, they seem like opposites. One a ghostly predator of the ice, the other a formidable ruler of the forest. Yet they share a deep evolutionary connection, close cousins shaped by their environments. Each is a master of survival, molded by the challenges of their unique worlds. Their lives are parallel sagas of power, intelligence, and resilience. These are the stories of nature's ultimate survivors. Join us as we journey from the icy Arctic plains to the lush North American forests. We'll uncover the remarkable adaptations that let these bears thrive in their extreme habitats. Witness the polar bear's patient hunt and the grizzly's versatile foraging. As their worlds shift and overlap, these two titans now face new challenges and each other. Their struggle is a symbol of our changing planet. By understanding their plight, we glimpse the delicate balance of nature. This is a journey through ice and forest, a tale of two titans and what's at stake. To understand these bears, we must look to their shared past. Both descend from the Eurasian brown bear, a resilient generalist that roamed Europe and Asia. This ancestor's adaptability set the stage for the polar and grizzly bear's divergent paths. Modern genetics reveal their split is recent, so recent in fact that they can still interbreed. The grizzly remains close to its ancient lineage, while the polar bear is a bold evolutionary experiment. Their story is one of family, shaped by environment and time. From a common ancestor, two spectacular forms emerged, each perfectly suited to its world. Around 500,000 years ago, climate shifts pushed a group of brown bears north. As forests gave way to ice, these pioneers faced new challenges and opportunities. Those with lighter coats and better swimming skills thrived, hunting seals on the sea ice. Over generations, natural selection sculpted the polar bear white fur, streamlined bodies, and sharp teeth for a marine diet. Meanwhile, southern bears became grizzlies, masters of digging, fishing, and foraging. The great split was complete. One lineage committed to the ice, the other to the land. Two paths, two specialists, each dominating their chosen realm. Evolution's grand experiment had begun. The polar bear, Ursus maritimus, is a true marine mammal, its life bound to the sea ice. The grizzly, Ursus arctos horribilis, thrives in diverse landscapes from rainforests to tundra. Polar bears have broad, rough paws for traction on ice and swimming. Grizzlies have long claws and powerful shoulders for digging and hunting. Every feature tells the story of adaptation. Specialization for the polar bear, versatility for the grizzly. For millennia, these strategies brought success. But as the world changes, their unique adaptations are put to the test. The line between their kingdoms is blurring. Survival now demands more than ever before. The polar bear's kingdom is the Arctic, a world of ice, frigid seas, and endless night. Here, survival depends on the sea ice, the platform for hunting, mating, and travel. Polar bears follow the ice's seasonal rhythms, reading its subtle cues to survive. Patience and energy conservation are key. A bear may wait days at a seal's breathing hole. This world rewards endurance and strategy, not haste. The polar bear is a hyper-carnivore, a solitary monarch in a frozen desert. Every trait, every behavior is shaped by the ice. The bear and the Arctic are inseparable, a fragile union of life and landscape. In stark contrast, the grizzly bear rules over a kingdom of immense diversity and seasonal abundance. Its territory is the wild heart of North America, stretching across the subarctic tundra, through the dense boreal forests, down into temperate rainforests, and high up into rugged alpine meadows. This is a world teeming with life, a complex tapestry of ecosystems that change dramatically with the seasons. It is a land of towering trees, lush undergrowth, rushing rivers, and sun-drenched clearings. Unlike the uniform white of the Arctic, the grizzly's world is a vibrant mosaic of greens, browns, and golds, a place of constant change and endless opportunity for a resourceful animal. The grizzly's life is governed by the rhythm of the seasons, a cycle of feast and famine that dictates its every move. In the spring, as the snow melts, it emerges from its den, hungry and driven. It scours its territory for the first green shoots, digs for nutritious roots, and scavenges for carcasses of animals that did not survive the harsh winter. Summer brings a bounty of berries, insects, and small mammals. But the true feast comes in late summer and fall, when massive runs of salmon choke the rivers, providing a critical source of fat and protein. that the bears must gorge on in preparation for the long hibernation ahead. This varied landscape has shaped the grizzly into a supreme opportunist, an omnivore with an incredibly flexible diet. Its survival depends not on specializing in one type of prey, but on its ability to exploit whatever food source is most abundant at any given time. This requires a remarkable intelligence and a deep, map-like memory of its vast home range. A grizzly must know the location of every berry patch, every salmon stream, and every promising denning site within its territory. This deep connection to the land is its greatest asset, allowing it to thrive in environments that are as complex as they are bountiful. The Forest Kingdom has built a bear of immense power and versatility. Its massive shoulder hump is pure muscle, providing the strength to excavate dens from rocky hillsides, tear apart logs in search of grubs, or bring down prey as large as an elk. Its long claws are perfect tools for digging, and its powerful jaws can crush bones with ease. The grizzly is a true architect of its environment, a force of nature that shapes the very landscape it inhabits. It is the undisputed ruler of the forest and the mountain, a symbol of the untamed wilderness and the incredible adaptability that life requires in a world of constant change. Nature is the ultimate engineer, and in the polar bear and the grizzly bear, we see two masterpieces of biological design, each sculpted for survival in profoundly different worlds. The polar bear is a creature built for stealth, endurance, and the brutal cold of the Arctic. Its most obvious adaptation is its magnificent white coat, but this is far more than simple camouflage. It consists of a dense, insulating undercoat topped by longer, hollow guard hairs. These hairs trap air, creating a buoyant and incredibly warm layer that protects the bear from both the freezing air and the icy water, making it a perfectly insulated hunter in a world defined by cold. Beyond its famous coat, the polar bear's entire physique is a testament to its semi-aquatic life. Its body is more elongated and streamlined than a grizzly's, allowing it to move through water with greater efficiency and less energy expenditure. Its paws are enormous, reaching up to 12 inches across and are partially webbed. These large, paddle-like paws act as powerful oars for swimming and as natural snowshoes, distributing the bear's immense weight so it can walk across snow and thin ice without breaking through. The pads of its paws are covered in small, soft bumps called papillae, which create friction and provide an excellent grip on slippery surfaces, ensuring stable footing on its icy hunting grounds. The polar bear's senses are honed to a razor's edge, perfectly tuned for locating prey in a vast, seemingly empty landscape. Its eyesight is sharp, but its sense of smell is truly extraordinary, often cited as one of the most powerful in the animal kingdom. A polar bear can detect the scent of a seal's breathing hole from nearly a mile away, and can smell a carcass from as far as 20 miles. This incredible olfactory ability allows it to find food across immense distances, a critical tool when prey is hidden beneath layers of snow and ice. This sensory specialization turns the vast, featureless Arctic into a readable map of opportunities. Every element of the polar bear's anatomy serves a purpose in its extreme environment. It has a thick layer of blubber, up to 4.5 inches thick, which provides not only insulation, but also a vital energy reserve for periods when hunting is unsuccessful. Even its small ears and short tail are adaptations, minimizing surface area to reduce heat loss in the biting winds. From its specialized teeth designed for tearing through high-fat blubber to its powerful swimming strokes, the polar bear is a living, breathing embodiment of evolutionary perfection, a creature flawlessly engineered for life at the absolute edge of existence. While physical prowess defines these bears, it is their intelligence and cognitive abilities that truly make them masters of their domains. The grizzly bear, in particular, showcases a remarkable capacity for learning, memory, and complex problem-solving. Built for strength and versatility, its body is a powerhouse. The iconic shoulder hump is not fat, but a massive bundle of pure muscle that powers its forelimbs. This gives the grizzly incredible digging strength for excavating dens and unearthing roots, and the explosive force needed to overturn boulders or deliver devastating blows. Its long, sharp claws are versatile tools, equally adept at delicate foraging and powerful combat. The intelligence of both species is profound. They possess a keen and lasting memory which is essential for survival. A grizzly bear can remember the location of fruitful berry patches and productive salmon streams from one year to the next, navigating its vast territory with a mental map of seasonal resources. Similarly, a polar bear recalls the locations of key seal hunting areas and denning sites, knowledge that is critical for its long-term success. This powerful memory allows them to learn from past experiences, avoiding dangers and exploiting opportunities with an efficiency that belies their brute strength. They are not just creatures of instinct but thinking, learning individuals. Their problem-solving skills are a clear indicator of their advanced cognition. In controlled studies and documented wild encounters, both bear species have demonstrated an impressive ability to overcome obstacles. Grizzlies have been observed manipulating objects, using tools like rocks to trigger traps, and finding complex ways to access human food containers, often outsmarting the engineers who designed them. Polar bears have shown similar ingenuity, using blocks of ice or pieces of rock to knock down prey from a distance or dislodge food. This capacity for strategic thinking elevates them from simple predators to intelligent tacticians capable of adapting their methods to new challenges. This cognitive complexity extends to their social behaviors, especially in the context of motherhood. A mother bear must not only protect her cubs, but also teach them the intricate rules of survival in their respective worlds. She instructs them on what to eat, how to hunt, where to find shelter, and how to navigate the social hierarchies and dangers posed by other bears. This multi-year apprenticeship is a complex process of knowledge transfer, demonstrating a level of teaching and learning that is rare in the animal kingdom. The mind of a bear, whether grizzly or polar, is as formidable as its body, a complex engine of memory, strategy, and deep awareness. The polar bear is an apex predator of unparalleled focus, a true specialist whose entire existence revolves around a single high-stakes hunt. It is a hypercarnivore, meaning its diet consists almost entirely of meat, a stark necessity in a world devoid of vegetation. Its primary prey, the lifeblood of the Arctic ecosystem, are seals, particularly the fat-rich ringed and bearded seals. These marine mammals provide the massive caloric intake required to survive the extreme cold, and to build up the thick layers of blubber that are essential for insulation and energy storage. The polar bear's hunting strategy is a masterclass in patience, stealth, and explosive power. A deadly art perfected over millennia of evolution on the sea ice. The most common hunting method is a patient and deadly waiting game. The polar bear uses its extraordinary sense of smell to locate a seal's breathing hole in the ice, a vital lifeline for the seals to access air while swimming beneath the frozen surface. The bear will then lie in wait, sometimes for hours or even days, completely motionless and blending seamlessly into the snowy landscape. It remains a silent, white phantom, conserving every ounce of energy. When a seal surfaces for a breath, the bear explodes into action, using its immense strength and sharp claws to hook the seal and drag it onto the ice in a swift, powerful ambush. This strategy requires incredible endurance and an unwavering focus. Another primary technique is stalking, a method used when seals are hauled out on the ice to rest and absorb the weak Arctic sun. The bear will spot a potential meal from a great distance and begin a slow, methodical approach. It uses every dip and ridge in the snow for cover, moving silently and keeping its body low to the ground. In the final moments of the stalk, it may even cover its black nose with a paw to complete its camouflage before launching into a breathtakingly fast charge. If the seal is near the water's edge, the bear may also swim stealthily, surfacing just before the edge of the ice floe to catch the unsuspecting prey by surprise. While seals form the vast majority of its diet, the polar bear is not above scavenging or opportunistic hunting when its preferred food is scarce. In desperate times, particularly during the summer months when the sea ice retreats and hunting becomes difficult, it may prey on seabirds, their eggs, or even small land mammals like Arctic foxes if the opportunity arises. It will also readily feed on the carcasses of larger animals like walruses or whales that have washed ashore. However, these alternative food sources are insufficient to sustain its massive body long-term. The polar bear's fate is inextricably linked to the seal, its survival a direct reflection of a brutal, focused, and highly specialized life on the ice. In stark contrast to the polar bear's specialized diet, the grizzly bear is the ultimate omnivore, a supreme generalist whose dietary flexibility is the key to its success. Its menu is as vast and varied as the landscapes it inhabits, changing dramatically with the shifting seasons. The grizzly bear's diet is a direct reflection of its environment's bounty, a testament to its ability to exploit nearly every available food source. This adaptability allows it to thrive in a wide range of habitats from coastal rainforests to high mountain slopes, making it one of the most successful and widespread large predators on the planet. Its life is a continuous quest for calories, driven by an instinctual calendar of seasonal opportunities. In the spring, after emerging hungry from its long winter hibernation, the grizzly's focus is on replenishing its depleted energy reserves. It patrols its territory searching for any available sustenance. This often includes digging for the starchy roots of plants like sweet vetch, or scouring avalanche chutes for the carcasses of moose or elk that perish during the harsh winter. It will also feast on the first tender green shoots and grasses that emerge from the melting snow, a vital source of nutrients after months of fasting. This early season foraging is a critical period that sets the stage for the months of intense feeding that lie ahead, a time of rebuilding strength and preparing for the coming feast. As summer and fall arrive, the grizzly's world transforms into a veritable buffet. The bear's diet diversifies to include a huge array of foods. It gorges on vast quantities of berries, huckleberries, blueberries, and buffalo berries, which provide essential sugars and vitamins. It will diligently tear apart rotting logs and flip over heavy stones in search of calorie-dense insect larvae, ant colonies, and moths. In some regions, grizzlies have become skilled hunters of newborn elk or moose calves, demonstrating their predatory power. This relentless foraging is a race against time, as the bear must consume an astonishing amount of food, sometimes up to 90 pounds a day to build the fat reserves needed for hibernation. Perhaps the most iconic image of the grizzly's diet is its mastery of fishing during the annual salmon runs. In coastal regions of Alaska and Canada, grizzlies congregate at rivers and waterfalls to intercept the migrating fish. Each bear has its own preferred fishing style. Some stand in the shallows and pin the fish with their claws, others snorkel with their faces in the water to spot their prey, and the most daring will stand atop waterfalls to catch the salmon as they leap through the air. This seasonal bonanza of fat and protein is the most important event of the year, the final and most crucial step in preparing for the long winter slumber, perfectly illustrating the grizzly's role as a powerful and intelligent master of its resource-rich kingdom. The lives of both polar bears and grizzly bears are predominantly solitary affairs, defined by independence and vast personal territories. These giants of the wild roam their separate kingdoms alone, their paths crossing only fleetingly and often with caution or aggression. However, this solitary existence is temporarily set aside for two crucial periods in their life cycle: the brief, seasonal encounters for mating, and the profound extended bond between a mother and her cubs. For both species, the journey of motherhood is one of incredible sacrifice and unwavering dedication, a period where the survival of the next generation rests entirely on the strength and wisdom of a single parent, beginning in the secluded darkness of a den. A pregnant polar bear faces one of the most remarkable endurance challenges in the natural world. In the autumn, as the Arctic winds begin to howl, and the darkness of winter descends, she must find a suitable snowdrift, often on a coastal slope, to excavate her maternity den. Here, she will give birth to her tiny helpless cubs, usually one or two, and nurse them for months. During this entire period, from entering the den in the fall, to emerging in the spring, she does not eat or drink. She survives solely on the immense fat reserves she painstakingly built up during the previous summer's seal hunt. It is an extraordinary fast, a testament to her body's incredible efficiency and her devotion to her offspring. The grizzly mother undertakes a similar though slightly different journey. She too seeks out a denning site, often digging a secure chamber into a steep remote mountain slope where the snow will provide a thick insulating blanket. Like her Arctic cousin, she gives birth to her cubs during the deep slumber of hibernation, a time when she is at her most vulnerable. The cubs, born blind, nearly hairless, and weighing little more than a pound, are completely dependent on her warmth and milk. She nurses them in the silent darkness, her body slowly metabolizing its stored fat to provide the nourishment they need to grow strong enough to face the world outside when spring finally arrives. When mother and cubs finally emerge from the den, it is a momentous occasion. For the polar bear family, they step out into a world of blinding white ice and biting wind. For the grizzly family, they emerge into a landscape of melting snow and the first signs of green life. In both cases, the mother is a shadow of her former self, having lost a significant portion of her body weight. Yet her most difficult task is just beginning. She must now lead her vulnerable young into a dangerous world, protecting them from predators and the elements while simultaneously teaching them the complex skills they will need to one day survive on their own. The first years of a cub's life are a perilous apprenticeship, a long and intensive period of learning under the constant watchful eye of its mother. She is their sole protector, teacher, and provider. For a grizzly mother, this means fiercely defending her young against all threats, the most significant of which often comes from large male grizzlies. These powerful boars may attempt to kill cubs, a behavior known as infanticide, in order to bring the female back into estrus. The mother's defensive fury in these encounters is legendary. She will risk her own life without hesitation, using her immense size and strength to drive away any potential aggressor that comes too close to her precious offspring. The education of a young bear is a complex and hands-on curriculum. A grizzly mother must teach her cubs an encyclopedic amount of information about their environment. She shows them which plants are safe to eat and which are poisonous, how to dig for nutritious roots, and where to find grubs and insects. She leads them to the salmon streams, demonstrating the patience and technique required to catch the slippery, powerful fish. Through observation and practice, the cubs slowly acquire the vast knowledge base needed to be a successful omnivore. This tutelage can last for 2 or 3 years, a long and vital period of knowledge transfer from one generation to the next. For a polar bear mother, the lessons are just as critical but far more focused. She must teach her cubs the singular art of hunting on the ice. They watch her every move as she stalks seals, learning the importance of stealth, patience, and the explosive ambush. She shows them how to test the thickness of the ice, how to use the wind to their advantage to mask their scent, and how to swim efficiently in the frigid water. The cub's survival depends entirely on mastering these skills. Harsh weather and starvation are constant threats, and a mother's ability to successfully hunt not only feeds her cubs, but also provides them with the living textbook they need to become independent hunters. Ultimately, this extended period of maternal care is a gamble against overwhelming odds. For both species, cub mortality is tragically high. Starvation, accidents, harsh weather, and predation by adult males or other predators take a heavy toll. Often only one cub from a litter will survive to adulthood. The mother's fierce protection and tireless teaching are the only things standing between her offspring and an early death. When the day finally comes for her to drive them away, forcing them into independence, it is a bittersweet success. She has given them the tools to survive, ensuring her legacy continues in the wild, perilous kingdoms of ice and forest. For hundreds of thousands of years, the separate kingdoms of the polar bear and the grizzly bear were defined by a stable, predictable climate. The Arctic sea ice, the very foundation of the polar bear's existence, followed a reliable rhythm of winter expansion and summer retreat. The grizzly's forests and mountains experience consistent seasonal cycles, providing a dependable calendar of resources. But this ancient stability is now fracturing. Our planet is warming at an unprecedented rate, and the Arctic is the epicenter of this change. It is warming nearly 4 times faster than the global average, triggering a catastrophic melt that is redrawing the map of the natural world, and setting these two giants on an unavoidable collision course. The most dramatic and consequential impact of this warming is the rapid decline of Arctic sea ice. This is not a slow, gentle change, it is a fundamental and swift collapse of an entire ecosystem. Satellite data reveals a devastating trend. The ice is shrinking in area, becoming thinner and more fragile, and the ice-free season is growing longer each year. For the polar bear, this is an existential crisis. The ice is its hunting platform, its highway, and its home. Without a solid expanse of sea ice, it simply cannot effectively hunt the seals that are its primary source of food. Every year, the bears are forced to endure longer periods on land, waiting for the ocean to freeze again. This forced march inland pushes the polar bears into a world for which they are not adapted. On land, they are bereft of their main food source. They become desperate scavengers, searching for bird eggs, carcasses, or anything edible they can find in the sparse tundra environment. This is a losing battle. The terrestrial ecosystem cannot provide the high-fat, calorie-dense diet they need to survive. As a result, polar bears are experiencing declining body conditions, lower reproductive rates, and increasing starvation. They are climate refugees in their own homeland, driven from their icy realm by forces far beyond their control, their specialized evolutionary path now a tragic vulnerability. Meanwhile, the same warming trend is having the opposite effect on the grizzly bear's territory. As temperatures rise, the tree line creeps further north, the once frozen tundra thaws, and the dense forests and shrublands that are the grizzly's preferred habitat expand into territories that were previously too cold to support them. For the grizzly, a master of adaptability, this represents a massive new frontier. Driven by instinct and opportunity, they are pushing northward, following the expansion of their food sources and colonizing new lands. This northward march is bringing them directly into the southern ranges of the beleaguered polar bear's domain, setting the stage for an unprecedented encounter. As the polar bear's world shrinks and the grizzly bear's world expands, their territories have begun to overlap in a way that has not happened in millennia. In the western Canadian Arctic and Alaska, grizzlies are now regularly seen foraging on the coastlines and even venturing onto the remaining sea ice, a domain once exclusively ruled by the polar bear. This has led to rare but increasing encounters between the two species. These meetings are fraught with uncertainty. They can lead to competition for scarce food resources, aggressive confrontations, or in some extraordinary cases, something far more surprising, interbreeding between these two distinct yet closely related cousins. The result of this unprecedented intermingling is the emergence of a new hybrid bear. First confirmed by DNA analysis in 2006, this remarkable animal has been colloquially named the Grizzly Bear or Growler Bear, depending on the paternal lineage. These hybrids often exhibit a fascinating mix of traits from both parents. They may have the creamy white fur of a polar bear, but the broader head, long claws, and shoulder hump characteristic of a grizzly. This physical blend is a living, breathing manifestation of a world in flux, a biological response to the rapid environmental changes that are forcing these two species together in new and unexpected ways. The existence of these hybrids raises profound and troubling questions about the future of both species. While hybridization can sometimes introduce beneficial new genes into a population, in this case it is more likely a symptom of a system in crisis. The hybrids are a biological warning sign, an indicator that the genetic barrier separating polar bears and grizzlies is breaking down, because the geographic barrier that once kept them apart is dissolving. Scientists worry that as grizzlies, which are more numerous and adaptable, continue to push north, they could genetically overwhelm the smaller, more vulnerable polar bear population, effectively breeding them out of existence in a process known as extinction by hybridization. The Grizzly Bear is therefore both a scientific curiosity and a poignant symbol of the Anthropocene. It is a testament to the resilience of life and the deep genetic connection between these two bears, but it is also a stark and tragic indicator of the polar bear's plight. This new bear is not a sign of healthy evolution. It is a consequence of desperation. It is born from a world where the ice is vanishing, forcing the ghost of the Arctic into the arms of its southern cousin. The Grizzly is a beautiful, confusing, and ultimately heartbreaking creature, a living embodiment of a collision course driven by a warming planet. While climate change represents the most profound existential threat, particularly for the polar bear, both species face a daunting array of immediate dangers that compound their struggle for survival. The polar bear, now officially classified as a vulnerable species on a global scale, faces a future teetering on a knife's edge. Scientists have issued stark warnings based on current trends of ice loss. The global population, currently estimated to be between 20,000 and 26,000 individuals, is projected to fall sharply by the year 2050. In some of the most southern Arctic regions, local populations are already in steep decline, a grim preview of what may come for their northern counterparts if warming continues unabated. Beyond the melting ice, polar bears are increasingly threatened by pollution. As top predators, they are victims of bioaccumulation, a process where toxins from their prey build up in their fatty tissues over time. Industrial chemicals and pesticides produced thousands of miles away are carried north by global air and ocean currents. These persistent organic pollutants, or POPs, concentrate in the blubber of seals and fish. When a polar bear consumes this prey, it ingests a highly concentrated dose of these poisons. These chemicals can disrupt their hormone systems, impair their immune function, and reduce their reproductive success, adding a silent, invisible threat to their already perilous existence. Grizzly bears, though more numerous and widespread, face their own intense pressures, primarily stemming from conflict with a single, ever-expanding species, humans. As human populations grow and development pushes deeper into wild areas, the grizzly's vast territories are being fragmented and destroyed. Roads, pipelines, logging operations, and housing developments carve up their habitat, creating islands of wilderness that isolate bear populations. This fragmentation prevents genetic exchange between groups, making them more susceptible to disease and local extinction. It also forces bears into closer proximity with people, a scenario that rarely ends well for the bear. These close encounters inevitably lead to conflict. Bears drawn to human food sources, such as garbage dumps, campgrounds, or livestock, are often labeled as problem bears. Tragically, these conflicts frequently result in the bear being relocated or, more often, destroyed by wildlife managers to ensure public safety. Furthermore, despite legal protections, poaching for gallbladders and other parts remains a persistent threat in some areas. Vehicle and train collisions are also a significant cause of mortality as bears attempt to cross the busy transportation corridors that dissect their homes. For the grizzly, the greatest threat is the relentless encroachment of the human world into their own. In the face of these mounting threats, a dedicated global community has risen to the challenge of protecting these iconic giants. The conservation of polar bears and grizzly bears is a complex, multifaceted effort involving international cooperation, cutting-edge scientific research, and the invaluable knowledge of local communities. For grizzlies in the contiguous United States, their most powerful shield has been the Endangered Species Act. Since being listed as a threatened species in 1975, their populations in areas like the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem have seen a remarkable, albeit fragile, recovery. This legal protection has been crucial in preserving habitat and reducing human-caused mortality, a testament to the power of conservation law. Scientific research forms the backbone of these conservation efforts. Biologists and researchers work tirelessly in some of the most remote and challenging conditions on Earth to better understand these animals. They use advanced technologies like satellite collars to track the bear's movements, allowing them to map out critical habitats, migration routes, and denning areas. By collecting genetic samples and monitoring their physical health, scientists can assess the impacts of climate change and pollution on bear populations. This vital data informs conservation strategies, helping wildlife managers make critical decisions about habitat protection and human-bear conflict mitigation, ensuring that actions are based on sound science. A crucial and increasingly recognized component of this global effort is the partnership with indigenous communities who have coexisted with these bears for millennia. Arctic and subarctic peoples possess a deep traditional ecological knowledge that is passed down through generations. They hold an unparalleled understanding of bear behavior, seasonal patterns, and the intricate connections within their local ecosystems. Integrating this traditional wisdom with modern scientific research creates a more holistic and effective approach to conservation. Collaborative management programs that respect indigenous rights and knowledge are proving to be one of the most successful models for ensuring the long-term survival of both bears and the people who share their lands. Ultimately, the fate of the polar bear and the grizzly bear rests in our hands. The work of conservationists, researchers, and local communities is vital, but it must be supported by global action and political will, especially in addressing the root cause of their plight, climate change. Public awareness campaigns aim to educate people about the threats these animals face, fostering a sense of shared responsibility for their future. Protecting these magnificent bears is about more than saving a single species. It is about preserving the wildness they represent and maintaining the health and balance of the extraordinary ecosystems, the ice and the forest, that they call home. We have journeyed through two distinct and magnificent kingdoms, one of brilliant, unyielding ice, the other of deep, resilient forest. We have witnessed the lives of two titans, each a masterpiece of evolution, perfectly sculpted by the powerful forces of its environment. The polar bear, a ghostly hunter, thrives on the frozen ocean, its very existence woven into the seasonal rhythm of the sea ice. The grizzly bear, a formidable ruler of the land, thrives in the lush bounty of the forest and mountain, a testament to the power of adaptability. For thousands of years they have stood as solitary, powerful symbols of the wild survivors who have mastered their respective worlds through strength, intelligence, and instinct. But as our journey concludes, we are left with a profound and unsettling realization: the worlds they have mastered are now changing faster than they can possibly adapt. The clear, ancient lines that separated their domains are dissolving not over geological time, but within the span of a few human generations. The ground is literally melting from beneath the polar bear's paws, while the grizzly is being pushed into new frontiers by a climate in turmoil. Their stories, once parallel sagas of survival, are now converging into a single, urgent narrative of challenge and uncertainty, a story being written by a force they cannot fight or outrun. The polar bear and the grizzly bear have become more than just icons of wildness or subjects of scientific fascination. In this new era, they have taken on a new role. They are sentinels. They are the canaries in the global coal mine, living indicators of the profound and rapid changes sweeping across our planet. Their struggle is no longer confined to the remote wilderness, it is a direct and visible consequence of a global crisis. The plight of the polar bear on its shrinking ice floe is a stark, tangible symbol of climate change, while the grizzly's northward march reflects an ecosystem in profound disarray, its natural balance thrown off-kilter. Their fate is a message to us all, a warning delivered from the front lines of environmental change. They show us that no corner of the earth is immune to our influence, that the consequences of our actions ripple outwards to touch even the most remote and seemingly untouched kingdoms. In their silent daily struggle for survival, we can see the fragility of the natural systems that have supported life for millennia. They are not just bears, they are living barometers of the planet's health, and the readings they are giving us are increasingly alarming, demanding our immediate and undivided attention. The future of these two magnificent species is now inextricably linked to our own choices. Their survival depends not on their own strength or resilience, but on our wisdom and our will to act. The challenges they face, a melting Arctic, fragmented habitats, a world out of balance, are challenges of our own making. Therefore, the responsibility to find a solution rests squarely on our shoulders. Protecting them is no longer simply an act of conservation, it is an act of restoration, an effort to mend the profound damage that has been done to the natural world, and to restore the delicate equilibrium upon which all life, including our own, depends. The story of the polar bear and the grizzly bear holds up a mirror, forcing us to confront the consequences of our planetary impact. If we allow the polar bear, this incredible specialist of the ice, to vanish, we lose more than just a beautiful animal. We lose a testament to the wonders of evolution and accept a world profoundly diminished by our own inaction. If we fail to protect the grizzly's wild spaces, we sacrifice the very essence of wilderness itself, the untamed, resilient spirit of the natural world. Their struggle is a reflection of our own struggle to live in harmony with the planet that sustains us. In the effort to save them, we find an opportunity to save a part of ourselves. Protecting their habitats means protecting the vast forests that act as the lungs of our planet and the stable Arctic climate system that influences weather patterns across the globe. By working to ensure their future, we are driven to create a healthier, more stable world for all species. It is a profound responsibility, but also a chance to demonstrate our capacity for stewardship, compassion, and foresight. The fate of these two giants is a test of our character as the dominant species on Earth. One thrives on the ice, the other thrives in the forest. Both are majestic, powerful, and now, deeply vulnerable. Their future, and the future of the wild places they represent, is not yet written. It hangs in the balance, waiting for us to decide. By protecting them, by fighting for the integrity of their worlds, we are not just saving a bear. We are reaffirming our connection to the natural world and acknowledging our profound dependence on the delicate, beautiful, and intricate balance of life that we all share. Their survival is our hope. Their future is our future.